recording start. Okay. So this session, so this is actually, I created a container using this command, like, so docker run using, and exposed the port, and also created a volume with the name, like, with the data volume 1. Okay, and this is the name of the container. And this is the image from which I'm creating the container. Okay. So after that, like, I just logged into that particular container. So using docker exec -it, so which is nothing but like interactive, and then the name of the container. So which software like we wanted to interact with. So bash. So here, like, we saw like different images, different volumes that are actually mounted on this particular container. Okay. So these are all like Linux containers. So I just I did cd into this particular data volume 1. So after that, like, there is no content over here. Like, so this is an empty folder kind of thing, like data volumes. So now I'll be creating a file over here. It's got test.html. Okay, so touch is nothing but like it will create an empty file. So it created like an empty file over here. No, okay. So this way, like, I just created this particular container, right? So I'll just exit from this particular container. And now we'll see like how this particular anonymous volumes can be used. Okay. So what I did is like I just created a container. So now I'll create another container. So this will be a bit confusing if you're using it for the first time. So just follow and then ask me if you have any questions or if you're not able to follow it. So I'm just creating another container. So I created one container with the name pawan_web. So now I'll be creating another container with the name like pawan_web1. So like what I'll be doing is like, so yeah, before actually running this, so I'll just show you, like, I created this volume, right? So I'll show you what this volume is actually. So in order to see the volumes that are actually created, so you can use this command docker volumes, and then so docker volume ls. So on your host machine. So this will give you all volume names. So this is, as I mentioned, like, this is an anonymous volume. So I didn't actually specify any name for this particular volume. So I just specified the path on the container, right? So this is called as an anonymous volume, and you can actually see anonymous volumes are created using the driver local, and then this is the volume name, anonymous volume name. So I have like multiple volume names over here, and I cannot actually identify like which volume is actually relevant to this particular container. Okay. So that is one of the disadvantages with anonymous volumes. So, but still, like, we can use anonymous volumes in another way. Okay. So how we can actually make use of these anonymous volumes is, so I just mentioned like another command, right? So I'll be creating another container, docker run -p, exposing the port, and then name as like web1. So here, like, what I'll try to do is like, so I'll just specify volume from. So volume from, so I'll just specify like other container name. Okay. So I'll just specify volumes from other container. So what I'm just trying to do is already used in the container name. Okay, so I already, it's look like yeah, I already have one container in stop state with this name. So let me remove that container. So I just deleted that container. So I'll be running this command again. So the command is, I'm just running this particular, creating a container from this image, like, and then I'm just specifying this thing, like, so volumes from, Pawan Web. So this is my other container which is running, right? Okay. You can actually see, so I'm trying to use the same port number, right? So that is what it is actually complaining. 8081 is already occupied. Okay. So I created another container. So let's see like Docker PS. So you can actually see I have like two containers, Pawan Web 1 and Pawan Web 2. So this is running on 8082 and this is running on 8081. So you can actually browse that. This is 8081 and this is 8082. Okay. So now let's see like how this particular volume from, so how does it actually help us out? Okay. So let's see like that. So I'll get into this particular container web 1. Okay. So I didn't actually create any container, any volume for this web 1, but I just specified like use this particular volume from this container like Pawan Web, right? So now let's see what volumes we have. So you can actually see the web 1 also has this particular volume. Okay. Data volume 1. And let's see like what content is actually present over there. So you can actually see docker test.html. So this is Pawan Web 1, right? So now let me on a different terminal, like let me run this other container. Uh, Docker test, right? So I'll just create another file over here. Okay. So I created like test1.html, right? So let's see if it is actually reflecting on other container. So you can see like this is actually reflecting on the other container, right? So these are the advantages, some of the advantages of volumes. And in this anonymous case, like what we did is like, so we created a volume when starting like one container. And then on the second container, like we specified like take the volume from existing container, like using the command like docker exec, I mean docker run, and then the option specified is like volumes from. Okay, so any questions over here? Or do you think like why do we need this process?
So, Pawan, so will this volume is be persisted if we delete the containers?
Yeah, so let's actually see that. Okay. No. So I'll actually remove these images and then we'll test that. Okay, so it doesn't actually persist, but I'll just show you. Uh, so Docker volume. So one thing, like as I mentioned, like so it is actually a bit difficult to track So these anonymous volumes are because like we don't actually know to which container these volumes are associated because it actually creates this particular name on the fly. Now let's try to remove these things. So meanwhile, like if anyone else has any questions or you can just let me know before I proceed with this example.
Pawan, I have a question. Like, is it similar with in Linux we have symbolic links? Like, is it similar concept or is it what is the difference between like symbolic link and this one? So here also we are linking the like volumes to the containers, different containers, right? So in symbolic links also we are doing the same, but it is not in a container based, like it's a Linux machine. So the
Yeah.
concept is core concept is same, correct?
Yeah, the core concept, like what I understood from your saying is like, so even if we can do like export like multiple folders or shared data between multiple items, so that is what we are actually doing. And basically like Docker is built on top of like Linux only. So all those concepts are still applicable with Docker. Okay. So the same kind of concept it is. So Docker volumes LLS, like I deleted all these volumes, right? So now let me try to create a volume again. So I'll be creating. So I'll be creating one Docker one. So minus P 8081 to 80, and then so after port, so volume will be like I'll be specifying data volume, and so what else do we need to give? Name Pawan underscore web, and then image name is Nginx latest. Okay. So I created this container. So now let's see Docker volume. You can see one volume is created, right? Okay. So now let's try to create another container which uses this particular volume. Volume from Pawan underscore web. Port number should be like a different port number. And the name of this container should be different. So I'm just using this thing. It should be like volumes. Okay, so the second container also got created. So we have Docker PS. Okay. So we have like two containers, and then so we also have like a volume. Okay, so this volume. So now let me try to create a file in this particular volume. So to differentiate things. Okay. So I'll just create a file inside this volume. I'm just getting inside the container. So I created this PAA.text. Okay. I'm just exiting from this container. So let me get inside the other container and see if the file is actually present. So cd data volume. So I can see this file in the other container also PAA.text. So now as per Funny's question, like let's try to stop this container like Pawan web. Okay. Minus up. So RM is nothing but like remove, and I'm doing like a force, so which actually stops the container and then removes it, like, or else like you need to stop it and then so delete it. So let's say like if I try to do Pawan underscore web, so it says like complaints like this container needs to be stopped. Okay, so you can stop this container using Now you should run. So Docker rm minus f is just like a combination of these two. So it stops the container and then it removes the container. Okay. So now let's see like volumes. So volume is still present. So this is the volume, right? Yeah, this is the same volume, right? So now let's see if the data is still present in the other volume. It is actually present, but the problem is is something like this. So you cannot actually identify which volume is associated with this particular container kind of thing. Okay. So can someone give me an example like where this will be useful? So funny, it is not actually deleting the data. So now I'll just try to create another container from this particular volume. Okay. So Docker,
Okay.
and let's see how it actually behaves. So volume from, I'll just take the volume from web1. Okay. And then create like another container web2. I'll just give like another port. Okay. So I just started this. So I'll just get into this web container, docker exec minus it. One underscore. It's web2 or web3? Web2, right? So even it got copied onto the latest container which was created. So this way, like we are able to share the data, right? So in the yesterday's example, like once the container is actually deleted, so we are not able to persist the data that is present in the container. But this way, like we are able to persist the data, like so by creating the volumes.
Okay.
So any real-time examples like where this will be applicable? So you, చెప్పు.
like cloning QA environment to stage prod. సో ఇన్ కేస్ నెట్వర్క్ అంటే నేను ఇంకో డౌట్ కూడా వచ్చిందన్న, ఇప్పుడు నెట్వర్క్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం కదా డాకర్ లోని. సో సేమ్ నెట్వర్క్ అయితేనే షేరింగ్ అవుతుందేమో కదా, లైక్ ఇప్పుడు 2 డిఫరెంట్ నెట్వర్క్స్ సేమ్ డేటా వాల్యూమ్ క్లోన్ అవ్వదు కదా, షేరింగ్ అవ్వదు.
సో అది నాకు కరెక్ట్ గా తెలీదు, బట్ నేను నీకు ఒకసారి చూసి చెప్తాను కార్తిక్, అది నెట్వర్క్స్ ఒకసారి అది. ఓకే. Yeah. So, but one use case is that. So the other use case is something like this. So let's say like you're actually working with an application like Node application or something like that. Whenever like we use a Node application, like we need a backend database, right? So whenever like you create a Node application and then a database, so the database, it should be saved, like it should be persistent, right? So do you agree with me or not? Like, so the data is supposed to persist. So if let's say like if I stop the container and if the data is actually lost, so obviously like I lose all my data that is present in the database. So, but that shouldn't happen, right? So whenever like I stop the container also, like, and whenever I recreate the container or remove the container and create this database container, so it should pick the data, right? So that is where like these volumes are actually useful. So now let's see like any other questions like till now, or is this confusing?
Hi, Paul. This is Surya Kumari.
Yeah. Fine.
Hi. Actually, I have a doubt. Like, if the main Docker, the volume which you have created, if we delete it, will the data be existing in the remaining two from where we have clone to?
Yeah. So your question is like if we delete this particular volume, right? So obviously like it shouldn't actually present, but let's see. Docker volume rm and then no. see the volume is in use. So other containers are actually using this particular volume. So what are these items? So we'll just see. See, you can actually see FBD. This is this container. And then the
Okay.
039B3AD. So this is another container, right? So it is just complaining that like, so these volumes are in use.
So
Let's
basically, you
actually,
won't be able to delete any of the shared volumes.
yeah. So whenever like there are like existing containers which are using this particular volume, so it cannot be deleted. So Docker stop. Let's try to stop these containers and then try the same. So these are all like Kubernetes images, right? So now let me try to remove this volume. So still I'm getting the same error. Like even though if I delete the container, so it's so the container is still present. Like it's only in stop state, right? So it is again complaining that these volumes are in use. So if you want to remove this particular volume, so you need to remove those containers manually. Okay. So Docker rm -f /1_web1 /1_web2. So I deleted these two items, right? Now let me try to remove this volume. Now it is actually deleted. So it clears your question, right, Surya Kumar?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So others like any questions or can we move forward? So hope you understood like why we should use like volume. So in our yesterday's example, like once we deleted that particular file, so we are not able to use that particular file like when we created another container from the same image, right? So that is when these volumes come into picture. Okay, so this is anonymous volume. So the same way like we have other volumes, Docker. So the other volume is like a named volume. So we saw like what anonymous volume is, and then so let's see like what a named volume is actually. So a named volume is almost similar to an anonymous volume, but the only difference is like so you can actually specify a name to this particular volume. Okay. So let me actually create an example. Let me take an example. So I'm just running this particular Docker, creating a Docker container using Docker run. So in the next latest, so same commands like -it interactive, name of the container, and then here I'm just specifying the name of my volume. Okay, so this is the format to specify name of a volume. So I'm just specifying power data colon. This is my volume on container. Okay, so this is the name of my container, name of my volume. So let me execute this. Now let's see Docker volume ls. Okay, so you can actually see previously we used to have a big like hash value, right? So now once we named it, like we can actually have this volume name. So another thing like what you can actually do now is, so previously we were specifying like volume Docker volume from, right? So now what you can actually do is like, so you can specify execute the same command over here. So I'm just starting another container. This is the first one is like Pawan Web and second one is like Pawan Web 1. So this time, so I'm just specifying the same thing like Pawan data and then colon like data 1. Okay, so I'm just saying to use this particular container. So now let me execute this thing. Okay, so this is actually created, right? So now let's see volumes. So, but still we have only one volume because I'm just reusing the name. Okay. Now let's try to get into this particular machine and then create a file. So data volume. I don't have any files over there. I'll do a touch. So I created a file power1.txt. So let me exit from this. So let's get into the other container and see this file is present over there or not. You can actually see, right? So power1. So I created this particular power1.text on power1 web container. So this is also copied onto this power1_web1. Okay. So let me exit from this. So now let me delete these containers, both of these containers. So I'm just deleting both of these containers. But still my volume is actually present. So you can see only Kubernetes. So those containers are deleted. So I still have my volume, right? Now let me try to create another container from the same image, like Nginx container, and then use this volume, okay, power1 data. I'll just create another container. So 3, something like that. So previously, like we created a file in this particular volume, right? So let's see like if the file gets persisted or not. So you can actually see this file got persisted. So hope you got an idea. So similar way, like let's say we created an SQL Server container or something like that, and then the container stops. So usually like whenever like you restart your Docker instance, like the containers gets restarted. So in that case, like we can actually, or if there is an issue with this particular container and then it got stopped. So when you try to recreate it, so and make use of these volumes, so that if that is not the case, like the data will be lost, right? So yesterday we saw the same example. So any questions? Yeah. So any questions or any doubts?
I do have a doubt. Like here we have given the same container name, right? Pawan data.
No. So I gave like yeah, that is volume name.
Sorry, volume name is same. That's the reason the data is persisting, or irrespective of the volume and the data persists.
No, so because I'm using the same volume, so the data is actually persisting. So if I create another volume, so then the data doesn't actually persist. So let's say I'll just show you. It's just like a hard drive or some data stored associated with that volume. So we don't actually have any containers, right? So let me create one container. So now I'll just have Pawan data 1. So now you can see 2 different volumes. So this container is associated with Pawan data 1. So now let me get inside this container. So you're not seeing the data, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the only difference between anonymous volumes and then named volumes is, so with anonymous volumes, so you'll have, so let's say like you're creating only anonymous volumes, and if you have like tens of or hundreds of containers, so you don't know which volume is associated with which container, all right? So that's the drawback. Like if you are actually naming the volume, so it will be easy. Like so if it is like SQL Server volume, so you can just name it as like a SQL Server volume or MongoDB volume, MongoDB data kind of thing, and it will be easy to identify. So that's the only difference. So previously, like before like Docker 1.9 or 1.8, so there are no named volumes. So that is when like these anonymous volumes are actually used. So nowadays, like it is better to use like only named volumes. So we saw like two different volume types. So one is like there are like three different volumes. So anonymous volumes, named volumes, and the third one is like host volume or binded volume. So we saw like anonymous volumes and then named volumes. So now let's see like what binded volumes is. Okay. So usually, so I'll also delete these volumes. I'm just clearing this one. Yeah. Volumes are clear. So now let's see like what a hosted volume is. So for example, what I wanted to do is like, so in my development environment, like I just wanted to point like, so previously what we saw, so we need to, if I wanted to change this particular file or something like that, okay, on dynamically like during development environment. So what I need to do, so I need to get into that particular container using like Docker exec, and then so there like I need to modify this file. So this is like a raw way, like so it's always like difficult to get inside the container and then change. So our focus will be shifting from development to this container changes, right? So in order to avoid that, like what you can actually do is like, so this is my host machine, so which is nothing but like my laptop, right? And so these are like Docker containers running. Okay, so in the next containers. So what I can do is like, so I can actually specify like point out my host volume. So something like my host folder to a particular folder on the container. Okay, so using that way, like I'll just show you. Okay. Using any volume, so I'll just create like one container. I created like one container, so 8081. So in order to change the content of this particular HTML file, what I need to do, so I need to get inside this Pawan Web 1 and then make some modifications to the HTML file, right? So just to avoid that, like what we can actually do is, so usually like I'll just show you one thing. So dollar of pwd. So this actually gives you the current path, current working directory path. So similarly, like you'll have equivalent versions in others also, like Linux or Shell, Bash, all the places. So what I'll be doing is like, so I'll be creating another container 8082, and then I'll specify minus volume. So I'll just point out my current working directory pwd. I'll just point to some other folder, like so where my HTML file is actually present, like Nginx is actually picking this particular HTML file from one location. I'll just show you. So let's actually see which location it is. You can get that information from official image. Yeah, so Nginx is actually pointing to this particular HTML file. Okay. So I'll just show you. This is a HTML file. So I'm on the container, right? So this is the HTML file from which it is picking. So every time like getting inside the container this way and then modifying this HTML file. So this is a bit difficult, right? So that is when like host bindings is actually helpful. So what I'm actually doing, so I'm just pointing my current working directory to this location. Where exactly the HTML file is actually present. Okay. So, and then I'll create like container name. So Pawan Web 2. Okay. So what you can actually see now. So Nginx 8081. So this is raw image, right? Raw container. On the second container, like I made my changes. You can actually see on 8082, which is nothing but like my second container. Okay, where I just created this volume like host binding. So it is actually picking the HTML file from my local. I mean, so from my host machine. So I'll make some modifications over here. So you can actually see, refresh it. So it gets changed, right? So this way, like host binding is actually helpful for you. Like, so you can actually bind your host machine code. So this is what we do in regular development, and this is mostly useful for developers. So you'll have your source code over here, and then in the Docker container, so you'll just bind your source code into the Docker containers, and there like you'll have all the softwares like Node software or Python or PHP softwares. So it is not actually required to install all PHP Python on your local machines, but instead like you can use like a Docker container for these softwares and just host your code, like mount your code into the container. So which it will pick, like the container will pick that particular code. So is this clear? Like, or any questions? So hope you understood the differences between these three volumes. Okay. So when to use these volumes? So anonymous volumes are rarely used because like it is actually difficult to memorize like all those names. So it is not a solid name, right? So we don't actually know which volume belongs to which container. So that's the reason why like nowadays like anonymous volumes are not being used to great extent. So in order to replace that, like you can use named volumes. So we saw a number of examples on these named volumes, and we also saw like host volumes. Okay. So any questions or any doubts? So for today, like we still have only 8 minutes, right? So for today, like we'll just stop it over here. So and discuss like if we have any questions or anything. Uh, so tomorrow, like we can continue from this slide. So questions or doubts, or even if you don't understand, like don't hesitate. Like even I didn't get all these concepts in the first attempt. Like no questions.
No.
Okay. So it's all clear, or just let me know. So is it clear or is it confusing or didn't actually understand anything or something like that?
It's clear for me.
Confusing Pawan, but yeah, maybe going forward we can better understand.
So where exactly it is confusing? So
Yeah,
that's what
so
I'm asking.
yeah. So you told like anonymous volumes and named volumes, right? Anonymous volumes, you said like the naming convention. So there is no proper naming convention, and we are not able to decide or define which volume actually contains to which container. So, but the purpose of these like are same for named or host or anonymous. The purpose is like same, right?
Yeah. So as I was actually mentioning, like before Docker 1.9, so there are no named volumes. So
Okay.
that is when like, so we used to have like anonymous volumes, and then you need to specify Docker volumes from that syntax, that kind of syntax.
Yeah.
But later, like in Docker 1.9, so they introduced the named volumes, and it actually replaces the purpose of anonymous volumes.
Yeah. Oh.
So the concept is clear, right? So where
Yeah.
exactly we can use volumes and
Yeah.
how host volumes or binded volumes that are different from like anonymous volumes. So when I created like hosted binded volume, so you can actually see, so a real volume is not actually created. So it is just binding the volume, binding. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Saturday, like what I'm actually planning to do is like, so let's actually do a hackathon kind of thing. So people who are interested, like you can actually, so just drop me a message. So based on the number, like we can actually decide. So even if I'm the only one, so I'll just continue with that, no issues. So what we can actually do is like, so basically if the number is like 12 or something like that, we can divide it into like 3 or 4 teams. And then what we can do is like, so we can create like using these concepts, like let's try to create a small application. Like, so basically like if people are familiar with the Node, so they can get started with Node, or if people are familiar with like ASP.NET or Web API Core. So let's focus on these concepts, like Docker concepts, more or less than these items. Like even if it is okay if you don't know like Node or any of these technologies. So, but we can actually, as a team, like we can actually do these things. Okay. So we can actually try to learn, I mean, apply these concepts and then create an application in the hackathon kind of thing and then deploy it onto AWS. So that is what I'm actually planning. So if anyone is actually interested, like, so or else like I'll just share an Excel sheet, like shared Excel sheet in this group, like in this channel. So do you have access to this channel? This one?
Yeah, yes, Pawan, we have.
Okay, so because I saw like majority of them actually joined with the temporary thing. So I'll just create an Excel sheet and then I'll share it over here. So shortly, like you can just give me your names if anyone is actually interested to participate. We'll do a hands-on session kind of thing, like by dividing into teams. So we'll have like one senior folk and then so 2 freshers or 2 people like who doesn't have any experience with Docker kind of thing, and then we'll code together. So what do you say?
Yeah, sure, Pawan.
Okay. So yeah, so questions related to these volumes or any concepts like on concepts still we saw since yesterday and today. So I see like many freshers are actually joining. So do you have any guys? Guys, do you have any questions or is it like a blank thing or you understood everything? Okay, so I assume like you don't have any questions. So let's drop off for today. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Pawan.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pawan.